Coach Grant, seems like some really good spirited days of practice the last couple of days. And when you're early in camp, that should be the norm. That's a good thing, right? To really have these days where offense, you're going to have some productive days. Well, defense is going to have productive days. It really has gone both ways.
Yeah, no, I think that's what camp's all about. And you're going to have, obviously disagreements, and, guys are obviously competing with each other. But, I mean, it's always good, see the guys go out there and compete every day and compete hard. And, it shows that they care too. So
we talked about Vincent, or talked to him after the first day, and it's clear you can see with him just more confidence on the field, more of a leadership factor, even though he had attributes of that a year ago. Where have you seen his growth?
In a lot of ways, I think. VD a year ago when he came in, he was real quiet, just kind of put his head down and worked and waited his turn. We had some older guys that have been here for a long time, and now it's his time to lead. And I think just in the last 7 months of being around him every day, and just through the first 4 days of practice, he's spoken up, and the guys follow him. And he's earned that. He's earned the right to be a leader in our room, which I think is good for him. And he's an unbelievable kid, and just comes to work every day. So he's awesome.
You got an influx of a lot of new transfers, but let's talk about the guys who are coming back. Obviously, Dayton got hurt a year ago. He's still, you can tell, trying to get back into where he was a year ago. Allen Middleton's a guy who's really played well for you. It seems like having a good camp. Out of guys who have returned and who are used to you and your coaching, your drills, what has you encouraged about those guys who have been in the program and are coming back?
Yeah, no, being in our offense for a year, it helps, they've learned a lot, and obviously you got guys like Dayton. We lost Dayton week 3 last year, and having him come back is big, just mentally, because he's a sharp kid that understands whether it's inside or outside. He's a guy you can throw in there at any position. And then same thing with Cal. Cal's another guy that you can do the same thing with. And I think you look at a guy like Allen Middleton, who's grown a lot just since he's first gotten here, coming in last fall, learning the offense. He was also a guy that we had to play last year. We had some injuries and things like that. But, you look last year, and Allen was able to go in outside. He spilled VD a little bit and got into some big games, and so I think for a young receiver, that's huge. But you can just tell his confidence and his work ethic and everything that he's done, through this offseason. He plays with a chip on his shoulder, like he's got something to prove every day, and it's paying off. So.
When you look at this group of newcomers that are coming in, that are transferred in, you got a lot of help and a lot of skill that can really boost your room. Where have those guys just boosted the room as a whole?
They've been great. I think, for one, they're all good dudes. They're all good dudes to be around. And you get in the portal and you don't know a lot about, the guys that you bring in until they get here. And so we had all of them come in the spring. But I'd say this room for sure, they all gel together, and there's not a lot of selfish guys in the room, I'd say. They're all really tight, and so I think that's important. And it speaks a lot about the transfers that came in. All those new guys just, they came in and they worked. They built relationships along the way, and they all want to win, so they all want the same thing.
You know as well as I do, Coach Grant, that the portal can be very hit and miss. And there can be guys who come from a really big-name school and it not pan out. And when they get to this level, they realize, wow, there's a lot of dudes that can play at the FCS level too. But it's clear in practice that Kalu has just been welcomed with open arms, and he stepped in clearly being able to carry some of his Power 5 experience. Again, games are still to come. There's still more time. But early, what's he done to really earn that respect?
He competes for sure, and he's a very talented receiver, and he's going to be as good as he wants to be. What I've seen from him just since he's gotten here is he's a fun kid to be around. He does compete, but he's pretty smart, and he's football smart. You don't have to tell him things twice. He's a quick learner in the meeting rooms. He takes good notes, all that kind of stuff. And you can see he's been at a bigger program and he's played and he's done, had some production. But by no means have I gotten, he's too good or anything like that. I think it's just he's worked hard and it's paying off. So obviously getting him to the season and everything is important. All these guys, we need everybody. But yeah, no, Kalu's been great.
when you look at the rest of kind of those incoming guys, what do you think each of them, as you kind of go through them, can really add and just, again, add depth where when you get to those games late in the year, you know you can put as many guys in there as you want, and where last year maybe it felt at times you were limited to a very small amount?
We're definitely deeper. I feel good about our depth. I think you look at the guys we brought in and their success that they had at their past schools. They've played a lot of football, and I think that's important. You bring in a guy that hasn't played much. This is his first shot. You look at all four of the guys. They were all top receivers. From where they came from, and I think they add experience to the room, and they add a maturity level to the room, which we need. And we're a little bit bigger this year, which was something that we focused on in the offseason and trying to find some size. And I think they're big guys and they play big. Getting them to do it consistently is the challenge, but I think they all add experience and in different ways. And they're all pretty tight. So when you bring all four guys in at the same time and they're new, coming into a new team, it's easy to build pretty tight bonds there. So.
Is it nice to just not have Deontay Cox around anymore? I mean, you just known him for so long that you can now finally breathe and be able to coach guys who want to be coached.
No, I love Deontay. I hope he's being good. I definitely will miss Deontay. He's one of my all-time favorites, but being from my hometown, and so, but chasing him around and everything. I don't miss everything, but.
Yeah, and it's Nick Baker too. We can't just leave all those guys out. But kind of in closing, I know last year consistency's been the one word that a lot of the guys have used here in camp. Coach Grant, that's what they want the offense to be more of, is just consistent. We saw at times last year some really great outputs, and then times where it was really frustrating. How have you challenged your guys? Just you always challenge them, but specifically knowing that we got to get better in 2024.
Well, I think, like I said, there's a lot of new faces, and it's a brand new room, So you challenge these guys just by going out and competing every single day, and knowing that there's another guy that could come right in and do your job just as good as you. And I think that speaks for every position on the team. You want depth, and it should never be a situation where you have a bona fide starter who's made it. So I think that's how I motivate my guys is that. But the consistency thing just comes in the work and what we put in meetings and what we put in practice. And I think with us and our offense, installing things and being able to learn in the meeting room and take it out onto the field, to be able to comprehend it in there and then execute it on the field, and seeing guys do that has been really good. We still got a ways to go. We haven't done anything yet, and that's what I tell them all the time too. We're talented, yeah, but we haven't done anything. And so I think that's always something that fuels their fire a little bit and motivates them. And so I know they're excited, and we still got a long ways to go, but we're getting close.